Professional responsibilities, which is related to you as a person. You already know we should be fair, honest, independent. So this is I'm going to recap. We have a code of professional conduct: independence, integrity, and objectivity. Professional standards, responsibility to clients, other responsibility, and this is as per US GAS, and this is as per International Federation for Accounting. So the rest of the world, like US versus the international setup. So code of professional conduct. Conduct means the way AICPA wants you to behave. No matter where you are, you have to behave according to their standards, right? So what are their standards? They says you have some responsibilities over your shoulder. You should use professional and moral judgments in the best public interest. For example, my client is mixing a chemical which is harmful for for customers, and I know this, right? So I cannot be quiet now because it is not in the public interest, right? I should take my measures to quit myself or talk to a client to fix this issue, and if he's not doing, then I should consult a legal opinion about it, right? So all that we do, we should always take a public interest in mind rather our financial interest as an auditor. We should have integrity. What is integrity? Integrity means suppose if two people have a fight, so they will come to a third person whom they trust, that this guy is a fair guy. So we say that he has integrity in themselves, right? So integrity means you don't sell your opinion against money, you don't take bribes, no one can buy your opinion, you are fair, honest, and very straight. Objectivity and independence. There are two words, one is called subjectivity and one is called objectivity. Subjectivity means if I will tell you tomorrow there will be a rain and you ask me how, so I will tell you, look, my heart says, my feelings, this morning when I wake up I feel that there will be a rain. This is called subjectivity, right? In our profession there is no space for subjectivity. We go objectivity, means if I say last 10 years I am following the weather and my statistics says that tomorrow there is a rain forecast, then it is an objective statement, right? So we go for objectivity. As I told you that we cannot raise finger on anyone without evidences. So until we don't have facts, figures, opinions will not work. Facts and figures should work. That is called objectivity. Independence, you already know that we should be fair, independent in actual and appearance both. Due care I already explained. There are extra care and there is due care. Now we have some rules and regulations. No need to memorize 102, 20. This is not required for the exam. We have standard for independence, integrity, general standard, compliance, accounting principles, clients, contingent fees, act discreditable, advertisement, commission, and form of organization. This is one by one we are going to discuss. Let's start from independence. A member in practice means a CPA should be independent in appearance and in actual, which is, it says that independence in appearance and in mental attitude. Now let's move towards when your independence will impaired. Impaired means damaged. Like when someone can't see from the eye, we say this, his eyesight has impaired, so damaged. Suppose you are a client and I am an auditor. So we have a blood relation. We have investor-investee relation. I am the auditor. I have investment in your company. So I'm always positive about your setup, right? So independence will impaired when there will be a conflict of interest, there will be a financial interest, right? And there could be other situations where I have compromised on certain principles. This is all he says. So just to recap, he says financial interest. If I ask for a loan from the client, I'm auditor, right? So I'm asking a loan from the client. Yeah, and any financial direct or indirect one. And I am the director of that company. Sometimes, I am auditor also, and I am a director of your company. So it's a direct impairment to the independence. So we should be fair. But there is no extremism. Don't think that it's always like this. No. Auditing and the world goes relative. We have to see the circumstance. Suppose I am an auditor and you are my client, right? And we have some financial interest between us. So what I need to do, I have to go to the management. I have to tell them, look, there is a financial interest between us. So they know it right before they decide. And still, if they decide that I am the most appropriate for this assignment based on my skill set, so then I can take up the assignment. So never think that it's just flat, like, if no, then no. It's not that way. It all depends on situations, circumstances, that how to maintain the independence. He says that independence is impaired if the former partner, professional employee of the firm is employed by or associated with an attestation client. Suppose I was working in a audit firm, then I left my job, I joined the client, right? So again, for a certain period, I am not independent, but after a period of time, I will be okay. So as an auditor, we can give consultancy services to the client. It is not going to impair anything. What is consultancy? Advisory, I will receive a call, they will say, should I buy Oracle or should I buy SAP? I will say, okay, let's do, first pay me. I will send my team, they will assess what is good for you, right? So I will get some money, and against that I will give some advice, right? This is very normal. So it is not going to impair your independence. When you are consulting, it's okay. But as a main thumb rule, you should remember that I cannot do the work that I did myself, I cannot check. So if I will do accounting, I design systems in the client, and then I start auditing, this is absolutely wrong, unacceptable, and not workable. We have something called alternative practice structures, because America is 200 some years old, right? It's an old country. So they have old companies, then they make this SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, then they make PCAOB, and in just now 2002, Sarbanes-Oxley came, So if you are 234 years old company, you are not according to this, So they have something called alternative practice for it, right? Alternative practice, which is the same, almost the same, but a different name. That in alternative practice, direct superiors or the covered members. What are covered members? Blood relations, brother, sister, husband, wife, father, daughter, this way. These are covered relations. See the same independence rule that I told you before. And indirect superior, including spouse, dependent, may not have a material financial interest. So if they don't have financial interest, then we can see case-to-case basis, right? We can't punish anyone that this is the wife, this is the kid, We have to see the independence is impaired, it is in the knowledge, and what we need to do accordingly. Moving forward, we have integrity, and he says that they should be objective, free from conflict of interest, not knowingly misrepresentation of facts. What is misrepresentation of facts? You know that inventory figure is not correct, assets are overvalued, and still you are signing, So this is a known misrepresentation, which is not good. What it includes, he says, financial statement, misleading entries, failing to make corrections, signing a document which is false. So that we should not do.